Sean's Vision Studios.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my first podcast. I'm actually going live on YouTube and also on 3 different cameras. I'm also on Instagram at the same time. So I'm going to be trying to focus on the YouTube much because that's also live too. So let me see actually. Let me try doing.
Nice.
Let me try doing that. All right. And we're also gonna have callers calling in too. I actually have the number. Go live now. Yeah, let's do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our podcast, our first one. Joe, you excited for this?
As excited as I'll ever be.
I'm actually excited because let me get in doing this one. I'm excited because this is actually my first live on a podcast on YouTube. Not just on YouTube, but now that I also have Instagram and also my other camera over there, so I am actually recording on 3 different cameras and waiting for people to ask us questions. I'm actually anxious on today's topic.
I believe today's topic is difficult childhoods.
It's actually called people with disabilities and how it affects them and the bullying that goes along with it.
Oh boy, that is a deep conversation.
I know, that's why we're here for an hour, and that's why we're gonna maybe have some callers calling in. All I can see is the waves, so if I don't mention your name on Instagram, I'm sorry, I do apologize. I will see your wave, and on Instagram, and also on YouTube, you can call in right now. The number is 857-298-4810. Sorry. I think that's the number. I'm pretty sure that's the number. Yeah, it's 857-298-4810. I'm also going to type it here for callers to call in.
Yeah, that would be a smart idea.
So, Joe, me and you both have disabilities.
Yep.
What was yours like when you was growing up?
Honestly, misdiagnosed. For the first 16 years of my life, I was written off as ADHD before some doctor who actually had a brain decided to put me through a neurological test, which gave me my autism diagnosis at the age of 16.
Oof. Did you know that you had autism at a younger age, or
My parents knew there was something wrong with me.
But they just couldn't diagnose you? That sucks. With me, for those who know about me, with my disability, I have facial paralysis, ADD, ADHD, and that's as far as I know. But me growing up with facial paralysis was not fun.
No.
I was getting bullied at a younger age than most of these kids.
Most of these kids? Apparently bullying's supposed to be abolished, the way I hear it.
Yeah, well, not when I was growing up. I was always getting into fights in kindergarten. No,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, before that. Actually in preschool. I was getting made fun of, couldn't make a friend. Because
children can be savage and they don't like things that are different.
Oh, well, they actually got my hands and feet when they started picking on me. And I came home to my mom like, these kids picked on me, so you're getting suspended from school? I'm like,
how do you get suspended from preschool? That's a new one.
Yeah, it's actually true, is that I would get calls, my mom will decided to say, hey, either knock your shit or you're going to get punished at home. Like, then tell them to stop making fun of me. It's not, I can't control it. You can't control it, so what am I supposed to do?
The old days in the 90s when things like peanut allergies didn't exist because kids were stronger.
Yes, so other than that, man, what we're doing now is we're pretty much telling everybody that who actually made fun of us that we're actually doing a lot better than them. And, well, they might be doing a lot better than us, but hey, at least I came up with an idea to stick what I was going to do when I was in high school.
To be honest, the things about those people is, the way I remember it, a lot of the bullies that I had to deal with usually were on, like, one track, like, lives, where their lives were always destined to go one direction, and they knew that since high school. But basically, back in high school, a lot of the people, they already knew what they wanted to do. Someone like me, who already thinks differently than other people, took a heck of a lot longer to figure out what I wanted to do. And in my personal opinion, I kind of think that journey to figure out what my special thing is a heck of a lot more rewarding than being saddled with something that you know from childhood and don't really have to put much effort, mentally wise, into what your life's going to be like. The way I see it is that the journey of searching out who I am is a heck of a lot more experience and rewards than being on a one-track future.
Okay. So me, I want to do video after my first video that I won an award with. It's actually up on YouTube right now. Again, I apologize to the people who are on Instagram. All I can do is see that you're waving. I cannot see what you guys are writing, so I do apologize for that. Well, I got the phone all the way over there. So again, if you guys want to call in, we're definitely accepting calls. It's 857-298-8410. So we're definitely taking calls. You guys can also ask us questions. We'll be here to answer them, but just realize that once you call in, you're going to be on speaker. So just giving you guys a heads up on that.
That Instagram says that you're the one doing all the waving. At least that's what it reads to me.
No, when they...
yeah, it says they waved at themselves, or you waved at them.
I waved back. See, they wave... where is it? See, they wave, and I wave back.
Interesting.
So I just can see their waves. I just can't, like...
I don't really understand.
As
all
you
you gotta do is wave back. Just wave.
I press it, and yeah, see, someone else waved, and now... see, that's a press wave. I can't press it back because I would like to wave back.
I think that might have been a response to us actually waving.
Probably. Who knows?
All right.
So, my question to you is, your life when you was growing up with autism, right?
I obviously was growing up with autism, but for a good majority of it, they assumed I was ADHD and medicated me accordingly.
Medicating you accordingly, like they put you on different medications, or they put you on one medication and...
Oh, a whole bunch of different medications, and none of them worked. Now, I've done a lot of personal self-study into autism, and one thing I found, even though this isn't always true for all autistics, for the most part with most autistics, is giving them, like, psych medicine, or medicine that affects the chemistry of the brain, may work opposite its intended effect. And then, like I said, this doesn't work for all autistics, but a good majority of them, you give them a psych medication and it will do the exact opposite it's supposed to. These medications include Ritalin, Adderall, etc., etc. You know, although I have found things like headache medicine still work. So you're good with like Motrin or Tylenol.
With me,
But you give them like ADHD medicine, which is very specifically attuned to the brain chemistry and trying to even those out for, like, say, someone like you who had to grow up with ADHD and ADD. Those medications would actually make an autistic show ADHD signs. So the more medication I took, literally the worse I got. And these psychiatrists had no problem constantly upping my dosage, nothing but, you know, psychologists my whole life, half of which I was more intelligent than the psychologist trying to figure me out. By the time I was 16, I officially outsmarted my psychologist, and that's how I ended up getting that meeting with the neurologist who ended up finally diagnosing me.
Wow. How did you outsmart him on this one?
Oh, that was because it came to my realization that if I tried to open up to this psychologist, he would, for some reason, I mean, usually a lot of things I griped about was my home life, I had a very difficult father, but I would talk to my psychologist about that. My psychologist, being concerned, would speak to my parents about it, and then I'd get my butt kicked when I got home by my parents, as if I was tattling on them. So eventually, in the upcoming visits, I just played card games with him. Didn't tell him a dang thing. And he eventually figured out that I'm not going to talk to him because him talking to my parents was getting retribution on me.
This may be like one of the.
Can you imagine that? Not even being able to trust your psychologist because they end up going to the people causing you problems and then they cause you more problems when you get home?
We have a person who asked.
Ooh, we have a question. Yay, question.
But this one. He was talking about his daily struggle when he has a disability. He has autism. I have ADD, ADHD, and facial paralysis. So
what we're talking about is we're trying to give people a peek into the lives of people who struggle with these disabilities.
Correct. And not everybody has the same ones as me and Joe here. I just took it to a different level. I was like, you're going to make fun of me? I didn't see any other kid with facial paralysis that I could get along with. So I was like, all right, hands and feet time. You want to make fun of me? You want to call me cricket face? You want to call me whatever? All right. It was go time. I didn't take crap. That's how it was when I was a kid. To remind you, my parents were divorced on my first birthday, so that didn't help out the situation either.
Oh, my parents eventually got divorced, so I'm right there with you. But honestly, I didn't really care all that much. By that time, I was already on my own.
Right, but when you're a kid, at the age of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you kind of wish that your parents were still together. That way you had the same set of rules. Because for me, I go to home from one parent. The other parent had a different rule. And then I'll go back to the other parent. And I'm like, hey, Daddy said I could do this, so why can't I do that here? So I kind of got confused on which rule was which, and I didn't care.
Well, at least you were only confused. I was traumatized. See, it's got to be pretty bad when you can be so traumatized as a 1 to 2 year old child, or infant even, that you actually have memories, clear-cut memories of when you were that young, as I do.
Oh, yeah.
And most of those was growing up in the DSS system. Yeah, I ain't saying DCF, they can change their name, but they won't change their crimes. DSS, and I remember horrible things. As you said, it can be confusing going from, one parent to another, but imagine going from one house to another, and each prospective adoptive parent has their own set of rules, their own house full of dangers and mysteries, and even worse, their own danger of being taken away by the DSS agent again, which back in the 90s was absolutely terrible. Like, do you know, I actually have a memory of sitting face forward in a baby seat in the front seat of a frickin' Jeep Wrangler. And this was long before I even knew what a Jeep Wrangler was, but it's a frickin' Lego car. Alright? You can put it together, you can take it apart, but put a baby in the front seat is the dumbest thing I've ever seen a DSS agent do. But I remember that at like 1 to 2 years old. That's pretty bad.
Wow. A Lego car. Well, I guess you know your vehicles then.
Well, it is also notoriously square.
Yeah.
Most Jeep Wranglers, anyway.
Well, I guess I will go for your Lego car. See, with me, it was actually kind of fun because, well, it actually has its up and downs. But when I was living in my dad's house, so I went to visit my dad. Me and my dad got to play sports. We got to play softball. We got to play baseball. We got to play like a lot of things. Yeah, we lost our viewers, so who cares?
No, you obviously care. Our viewers are here to hopefully learn about some disabilities and the struggle of living with them.
Listen, the ones that I really care about is the ones who are actually going to be watching this later on.
Right, but the thing is, at the same time, you also got to care about your viewers.
Yeah, I do care about them. But these ones who are following right now, I believe that they're just scammers.
But hey, it's a live feed, it's a live feed.
I get it. But, yeah. So, anyway, like I was saying, when I was growing up, before my dad had custody of me, I still remember going over my grandfather's house, because that's where my dad lived at the time. And I got to see my grandfather most of the time, too. So I got to play some sports. I got to see what my dad was collecting. He was a big collector in sports memorabilia. But his main thing was collecting baseball cards.
Oh, of course. Huge hit in the 80s.
And not just the 80s, the 50s. It went all the way from back in the 50s all the way to... It was a bigger hit in the 90s. And believe it or not, I ended up following the footsteps, so now I became a collector. And now, if anybody's actually wondering, I know this is going to be a little bit off topic, but the Nationals of that is coming up. The Nationals of Sports Memorabilia is coming up, and that's out in Chicago.
What in the heck does that mean?
It means you...
What are you going to do? Is there some kind of, mysterious card game you can actually play with, sports cards that I don't know about?
No, it's actually a big collector's
competition.
No, it's a big collector's industry where, you would... If I pull this up right now, you'd be like, what?
I'm already like, what?
There's a 1952 Mickey Mantle Topps card that is so... I want to say it's so overpriced, but... I understand why. But it's one of the most expensive cards in the world.
Okay.
And people collect this.
Well, that's because... The thing about collecting and the reason why the prices vary so much is because a lot of people say you can't put a price on sentimentality, but that's exactly what collecting is. It's literally putting a price on sentimentality and seeing if someone is sentimental enough to buy it. And that's literally the basis of all collecting.
Well, yes and no. See, we collect to flip.
Right, but you're also, if you're flipping, then you yourself are putting the price on that sentimentality as you're selling it, just like you're willing to pay that sentimentality price when you purchase the collectible in the first place. Sure, you can make money when you flip it, but ultimately it comes down to how sentimental is the buyer.
What do you mean, how
much money are they willing to shell out for that sentimentality? Or bragging rights in some cases. Like, you just mentioned that really expensive card. Anyone who happens to own that will instantly have bragging rights in the collecting community, which does, and at the same time, does not exist.
So, like I said, the Nationals for the collecting is coming up. That's in Chicago.
See, that he says Nationals? That doesn't sound like a competition to you?
No, it's what it's called. It's called Nationals Collectors. I forget what it's called.
It's probably some kind of convention.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a convention, and it's one of the biggest collectors card shows. That's actually it is. It's actually a card show.
I'm guessing they do all kinds of cards, or is it just sports cards?
Just far as what I understood, it's just sports cards. But who knows what you might find Pokemon, you might find other cards, but. Mainly it's going to be...
I don't know about Pokemon, but honestly, as far as card games go, the only one that can really hold a candle to sports cards would have to be Magic the Gathering, considering that Magic the Gathering was among the very first trading card games to exist. Because it was founded, I believe, either in the 70s or the 80s, and obviously things like Pokemon, Duel Monsters, aka Yu-Gi-Oh!, they all came in the 90s plus.
Right.
So you want old trading card games, Magic the Gathering is the first. It's basically Dungeons and Dragons in card form.
Okay. Something new I didn't know, but that's all for a later debate. But back to our disabilities, yeah. So, let me see here. Let me take a look. No calls yet, but hey, like I said, we're still doing the live. We're still talking about with people with disabilities and stuff.
And apparently cards now.
Sorry, like I said,
topic.
Yeah, I did. That's my ADD that just kicked in. Like I was saying, how did I get off topic? I know exactly how I got off topic. That was when I was staying with my dad's house when I was a kid. Like I said, he was started collecting this, and I ended collecting just random stuff, and who I thought was actually kind of cool and neat. And I ran into a few cards. I ran into a Randy Johnson card. And I said, "Hey, Dad, this looks exactly like you. Are you him?" At the time, it was a Seattle Mariner, so my dad thought that was actually kind of funny. And then I showed him another card. It was a Dennis Eckersley card, and I'm like, "Hey, is this one you now, too?" He says, "Which one do I look like?" I said, "I don't know. You look like both of them."
Well, somebody has a twin somewhere. Apparently your dad had some really famous twins.
Yep. So, we used, like I said, my dad used to take me to ball games when I was a kid. He actually took me to my first Red Sox game. Again,
Wow, that's almost like the song. Did he get you any Cracker Jacks?
No, he took
Damn.
he took me to my first Red Sox game, but no, I can tell you what he did. He gave me my first poke in the eye.
Ha. Ironically, my dad also took me to a baseball game. Only once.
Did he poke
Weird
in
like
the eye?
that. No, my dad knew how to keep his hands to himself, at least in public.
Did he sub you over the head?
Oh yeah, that happened a lot.
Did that happen at the game?
I have no idea. I was a kid. I'm 32.
Well-
This was at least 20 years ago. At least.
I remember this, my first Red Sox game, and Dwight Evans hit a home run. I get poked in the eye with it.
With what? His home run?
No, my dad jumped up, he went for a wave, and I got poked in the eye. I was 3 years old at the time.
Were you on his shoulders?
No, I was sitting.
How the heck can a wave poke your eye out when you're a child, presumably sitting next to him?
Right, well, the seats are like close.
Right, when you wave, you stand up.
No.
And you wave, and your dad's
No.
already taller than you are.
Yeah, but see, he already went like this. He was standing up. He went straight up. He went bink.
Okay, so that's not a poke in the eye, that's a punch in the face.
No,
Okay, that's a little different.
No, he didn't. I got poked in the eye.
Maybe with like a ring or something.
I think it was his pinky.
Ah, his pinky ring. Gotcha.
No, his pinky. His actual pinky. Because he don't wear pinky rings. So, yeah, we know we got some comedy coming. Don't worry, we got more. This is, like I said, our first podcast. Gonna edit this one later on for the lives.
I'm not sure that's how live works.
Well, that camera over there I can edit, and that one I can actually have some fun with. The lives I cannot edit. I can edit. Maybe I'll check it out after. I guess I can edit the YouTube one.
Yeah, and they even have a big old edit button.
I saw end live stream too, but no. Quit getting me off topic. What else did I do with my dad when I was a kid?
You guys get poked in the eye at the ball game instead of getting Cracker Jacks.
Oh,
You got cracked in the head.
me and my dad had some shares. We had some fun together. What else? Just trying to think.
Honestly, that right there is a struggle alone for ADD and ADHD people. It's just, I'm trying to think. Because sometimes it can be a little difficult with all the distractions.
It is. You're not lying.
I told you.
You're not lying. On
Psych
that.
medication gave me the experience of being ADHD. I may not be ADHD officially, but I know how they feel. My whole childhood was ADHD central thanks to the friggin' meds. Which, by the way, I'm not on any medication at all, and suddenly I'm leagues better.
I'm not on any more medication.
And that explains a lot.
I cut myself at the age of 18 when I found out I couldn't join the military.
Believe me, when I was 18 and found out I couldn't join the military, when I could have been a military doctor by now, I was pretty pissed off. But hey, back in '08, military didn't know jack shit about, autism. The whole world didn't know anything about autism. Alright, autism awareness was only just starting up back then, so they thought I was too much of a liability, even though I could probably fly planes, and I was the Air Force, by the way, fly planes or fly the drones with the best of them. Heck, my high school said I'd never drive yet. I drive better than anyone I know. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, not all autistics are mechanically inclined, but a lot of them are.
Right.
Other ones have other, strengths that they got from their disability, which is also can be a blessing alongside a curse. But I've also seen both the top end and the lower end of the spectrum.
Speaking of spectrum, you're actually wearing one of my shirts.
I am.
What?
Sean's Vision Studios.
So these shirts, let me see, short on Insta. I can't see what people are talking right now, but those shirts are actually for sale, and the t-shirts are $20 a piece for all sizes, and the sweatshirts are, oops, sorry guys, I dropped you. I'm trying here. All the sweatshirts are actually $40 a piece.
Nice shameless plug.
Yep, and then you get all the colors. Well, you get to pick your color. You can pick your color and your sizes, by the way.
So, stay tuned if you feel like you want to, support our podcast and any other future endeavors from Sean's Vision Studios. And
I do have a text from
interesting.
Angel.
Well, I guess a text is as good as a call nowadays.
So, Angel is asking...
Asking who, me or you?
That's actually a good question. I'm just going to put his question right out there. Angel asked, how are you guys doing now from your disabilities? Ooh.
That is a loaded question.
Ooh.
Very well asked.
What are we doing now?
Why don't you start? Since our disabilities are different, our lives are different.
Yeah. With me, my disability, first off, I didn't let my disability affect me in any way when I was denied from the Marine Corps at multiple times. I would have to say I don't think it affected me, by the way. I tried not to let it affect me, but my learning disability, that is a whole ball game itself, because when I was trying to learn something, I couldn't remember crap what I was being taught.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't sure if it was too much information that was thrown at me.
Or your attention span.
Or my attention span, unless it was something that I was actually interested in. Even though I was interested in in sports and stuff, trying to memorize home runs, who hit the most home runs, who stole the most bases. I'll be like, Siri, I'll be like, Google, Siri, or this one. I'll go to my encyclopedia. Dad, who stole the most stolen bases in the American League right now? Who has this? Who has that? Oh yeah, my dad was a walking encyclopedia all day. Yeah, I told my friends, if you don't know, nobody knows. And I got that line from the movie Casino, one of my favorite movies. Wasn't sure if you've seen it, with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro.
I know those names. What was the name of the movie?
Casino.
No, I haven't seen it. I've seen a lot of movies with casinos in them, but not that one.
No, that one's actually, I think that's one of Don Riegel's last...
Slightly off topic.
Last videos that I've seen him in. But yeah, Don Riegel is also a famous actor.
So let's go back to Angel's question about how are you living nowadays with your ADD and ADHD? How has your life at all changed since when you were a child? I believe is what he was asking.
Yeah, that's what he was asking. I don't know how to answer that one, but that was a good question. The only thing I can say this right now is that I'm a college student right now with a 2.50 GPA.
And I believe you just finished a semester, yes?
I did finish my semester, but it struggled. I struggled bio. I couldn't remember anything, especially going to classes 3 days a week, learning new material almost every day. I felt like I was back in elementary school, junior high school, and also high school, where you get thrown all this information at you and like, hey, here's a test. Guess what? Now you got a test every week. And it's 2 tests every week. One was my lab test, and then one was my exam test. The exam was what we learned in the class, like the lecture part, and then the quiz part was
getting a little off topic.
Was based off of was my lab. So to answer Angel's question, I don't think I ever changed. Be honest with you, he needs to elaborate a little bit more on that so I can actually answer to give him the better answer.
Right.
But
how about I try to take over for this question?
Go ahead.
I think I have at least a little bit more accurate answer while you try to. Well, actually, if anything, maybe giving my example might help you wrap your mind around what you want to say. Angel was asking how. Well, actually, can you repeat his question one more time?
His question was...
Just so I don't assume.
Yep. How has your disability affected you from then, when you was a kid, until now, and how are you dealing with it?
Oh, yes, I actually have a good answer to this.
Well, I struggled with that one.
As I mentioned before, as a child up until I was 16, I was heavily medicated with ADD and ADHD medications. Since the higher and higher the dosage went, as the psychiatrist had no idea what he was doing, I became worse and worse. So to be quite honest, my entire childhood, I was a monster. And I even blocked out a great majority of it because I am so horribly embarrassed with what I was, and it wasn't even my fault. I was forced by this medication by parents who didn't understand me, and my behavior became worse and worse. I barely had any friends. I had more bullies than acquaintances, and I was even so bad I even ruined other people's lives, which made me feel worse than anything else.
Ooh.
However, after my diagnosis, so if anything, my actual diagnosis with autism was the beginning of my real life, because all the medication stopped, my brain normalized, I got my autism diagnosis, I finally understood what was actually going on with me, and then I spent, because of this diagnosis, and the huge change in my life, it was almost like a turning point, I spent the next 10 years of my life studying human action, interaction, and body language so that I could overcome the social deficiencies that a lot of autistic people suffer from. So I decided to basically imitate human action and interaction simply so that I could emulate it and communicate properly with ordinary people. Heck, a lot of the people I talk to now don't even know I'm autistic because I have learned how to read body language and how to speak to someone that best makes them more open to a positive response. Heck, I can walk into a conversation with total strangers and be able to join the conversation without feeling like I'm trying to wedge myself in there. I do it all the time at parties. It's awesome. But being able to go from a wallflower to the center of attention was a very, very difficult journey of 10 years. But you know what? After this journey, after doing this self-study of autism on myself, since the world obviously doesn't know crap about autism, I have not only gained the ability to be socially adept, like most other normal people, but I've also gained the ability to be an actor. Because what is an actor but emulating a character, becoming a character, which is exactly what I do every day, but my character every day is a normal person. Hi, I'm Joe. My character is the average Joe. Nice to meet you.
Well, matter of fact, hey,
if anything...
I'm sorry, I have to tell this bad joke, but yeah, isn't your last name Tower?
It is, like the building and the tarot card.
Yeah, guess what? I need a ladder to climb you.
That sounded wrong. Don't ever say that again.
Well,
You're taller than I am, you bastard.
Well, you think of the building that's a tower? You know buildings?
Yes. Yeah.
Tower
like the building. Congratulations.
Now you get the bad joke?
I don't get the joke part. I get the bad part, but not the joke.
I'm sorry, that was just in my head. I had to say it.
No, it's alright.
So, there is another question, a few questions, and we...
Oh, we're actually getting more questions in? Alright, let's have you try again with this next question. See if maybe you can answer it better.
This one is I guess this is to both of us.
Interesting.
What got...
Wait. Who asked the question? Let's start with that. Give credit where credit's due.
Lauren asked...
Lauren. Hi, Lauren.
I don't know which Lauren this is, though.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not sure if this is my cousin or if this is a random Lauren, but... Lauren asked, what got you into your hobbies, and have you ever changed? Ooh.
I got a good answer to that, but again, why don't you start?
I have... My dad when I was staying with my dad, before he got custody, back to that again, I used to detail cars.
Interesting.
To help my dad out, used to clean the inside with a vacuum, dust his dashboard with Armor All, the little things like that. He'd never let me wax a car. Not until the age of 14, but at that time I was already living with him.
Are you kidding me? All he had to do is let you watch The Karate Kid and you're good. Mr. Miyagi will teach you.
Yeah, not when you're getting paid $120.
Okay, so you wax on, wax off, motherfucker?
No, there's a special way, and Karate Kid, they do it different.
You're right, they do it for a lot more valuable vehicles than whatever the heck you were working on.
No.
Do you not see Miyagi's cars? Those cars were valuable that he had.
But you don't do just wax on, wax off. You gotta let the wax sit on the car for some period of time before you can wax it off. So they just do wax on and then they take the wax off within 3 seconds.
Well, that's cold wax. Hot wax, as you were saying, was a little bit different. Usually hot wax you have to let sit. But cold wax, you just wax on, off.
I don't know what wax they were using. I just, my dad used to do everything by hand. So we would have a can of Mother's can of Caribou. Oh yeah, by the way, Mother's, you should be sponsoring this because I'm actually giving you a good product name right now. My dad would never use anything but Mother's.
Okay, but before you continue, how does this have to do with your hobbies, and are you still doing them, or have you changed?
I'm getting to that. My dad was... Getting to your question first, was why didn't my dad teach me that? Well, my dad just had this can of Mother's car wax, and I used to put it... Well, he used to put it on, and then that's when he would teach me to take it off. So he wanted to make sure that the customer who was paying my dad wanted my dad to take it off, not me. As I got older...
Understandable.
As I got older, that's when I started to learn that stuff. So that was actually one of my first jobs I did. The second, I thought that was actually going to be my life career, because I started so young. And then me and my dad, we went into landscaping for this guy, John Ricciuti. Anybody knows, whoever is from New Bedford, Massachusetts, you know Hancock Monument, which was right on Ashley Boulevard, which is right next door to Gary's Best Hot Dogs. Well, before it used to be this, I think it's Fortin now, Fortin Electrical or something like that, Fortin Painting or something. Before that, that building used to be all sited for gravestones. So the guy who owned that at the time, what we do? If you request, we have a request caller.
Oh. Interesting. Welcome.
We'll see if it goes. Accept. Accept. No. I accepted. Alright.
That's interesting.
Well, we had a request caller, so. But yeah, people can call in on Instagram, which I don't think you actually knew that.
No, I don't do InstaFace.
So, anyway, me and my dad, we did that part. And me and my dad did a lot of odd jobs together. But to answer this person's question, yes, I had other jobs that I thought I was going to see for the rest of my life before I was changing career opportunity. When I got into high school, I won my first award for video. And my very first video is actually on my YouTube channel. That's what actually started this whole video gig.
Oh, also, once this live stream is uploaded to YouTube, we'll also add a link to that video he's talking about so you can see that award-winning video yourselves.
Yes, it's actually, this is actually already on my YouTube channel.
I mean after the live. When it's just a recording, we'll at least be able to put that little button up there.
Go live. I don't know if this person's still trying to go live or not, but it's still irritating me because I keep on seeing the red. So, to answer the question, honestly, yes, I thought I had other jobs, and then that's how I stuck with video. So right now I'm doing video, and I'm going strong on it because it's something I love. It's something I know. I know how to edit. I just feel like that was like the better job for me. Something I can handle, and plus I'm my own boss. Who can tell me what to do? Okay.
Now, what about your hobbies? I believe the question was about hobbies, things you did for fun.
No. The question is did you have any career-changing opportunities?
Oh, I didn't hear that part the first time you asked the question. So
now it's to you. The question's no. It's your turn.
Can you ask that again? Because clearly I got it wrong.
Lauren wanted to know. Have you ever had you started a job, well, let me just say it this way. You started a job and then you had other jobs.
Let me read it.
Have other job opportunities.
That made less sense than a cash register.
What Lauren is trying to ask is...
No, just read it. Read the question.
I did read the question. Lauren asked, was there any job opportunities for you? Like, you started a job, okay, like I did.
That's not a job opportunity.
No, for me it was because I started waxing cars. And then I went to landscaping. It's not there.
Okay. Job opportunities, huh? Well, to be honest, I started out my career as probably the worst job I've ever considered. Actually, no, that's not even my first job. Holy crap. No, I started my work life off as a child laborer, doing irrigations in most of Massachusetts colleges and private homes. So I've already been all over Massachusetts, and I used to sit in a little white irrigation van, and we'd go to random people's houses and do their irrigation back when they could actually afford irrigation. Obviously, the economy has changed since then, but that was the very first job opportunity I did, and I only did it because my dad owned the business.
Did you see yourself sticking with it, though?
No, but I do believe I learned a lot of great life lessons from it. It's not, because irrigation isn't just digging holes, it's the landscaping knowledge, it's the planning out of all the piping, all of the sprinkler heads, all of the gardens, and the timer. Doing it literally within a single day each and every time, unless it was a college. Colleges often took quite a few days in order to get all the areas that the campus wants irrigated. But I did learn a lot about working the land and beautifying the land from that job. After that, I mean, that was just when I was a kid. My official real job, when I was actually allowed legally to earn money, I worked first as a book destroyer which I didn't even know was a job position, but apparently, at least the library I worked for wanted to recycle books that had not been taken out for a certain amount of time and weren't, special. Certain books are special and will be kept no matter how long they don't get taken out. Other lesser known books will have a book destroyer who will rip the pages from the binding, and then everything gets recycled, so on and so forth. And that was the first job I had. And then after that, I worked for my very first cooking job at a golf course. So, and I've been cooking ever since. I'm all gonna be coming up on about 20 years. In about 3 years, I'll be 20 years. I would have been a chef. So,
did you see that, like, you?
But mind you, on top of that...
No, I mean, did you see yourself being a cook for the rest of your life?
No, but again, just like with the irrigation, being a cook, I did enjoy the feeling of seeing my customers enjoy the food that I prepared for them, sure. That is a joy that most cooks have. But for me, I did it because I simply wanted to be able to cook myself restaurant-quality meals for the rest of my life.
For home or just...
Oh, for home, yeah. I was like, why go out to eat when I can cook food better than the restaurant?
Oh, yeah.
I already know where the restaurant gets their food from, so I just gotta go there.
Yep, and the girls must be loving you because now that you're a cook...
I already mentioned earlier about my autism and learning about acting. That also opened up the door for the acting career as well, and that led to me being able to work on a movie with Ben Stiller. I was actually an extra in his movie Brad Status, as well as the movie that you can see right behind Sean's head in the background is the actual movie poster of Plaga Zombie, which is another movie I was in.
Yes, that movie must have been fun for you, no?
Yeah, it was very fun. I think the least fun part of it was being whacked in the head by wooden legs. That's about it. The rest of it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I would actually love that part. Ashley Mel just joined. How you doing, Ashley?
Welcome.
And then some of these names I can't read. Mana Johnson is waving, so I'll wave back.
That's Mommy Johnson.
Whatever.
Mommy, I think. Welcome.
So, sorry to get you off topic. So, is that the only jobs you had, or is there been ever a job where you actually thought you was going to stick with for the rest of your life? Like for me, it was detailing. For me,
nope. Actually, I didn't. For most of my life, it was just hobby after life pursuit, but nothing truly hit me as what I wanted to do. It took me so long to finally understand that my true calling was stories and wanting to give them the finisher to that story. Because why? Stories are how humanity passes down life lessons to the next generation. Stories come in many different forms, from entertainment to literature, etc. And that's how we teach past events to children in a non-boring way, like history. So, and these stories are something that transcend thousands upon thousands of years, sometimes. And that's what I realized was what I want to do. Is I want to be able to influence not just our upcoming recent future, the next batch of children here in the 2020s, but children 60, 80, even 100 plus years from now. I want them to be able to view the stories that I tell in the many different outlets that stories can be told in, and learn the lessons in something that will be accepted even by future societies. Like nowadays, society has changed so much that things that were considered okay, say back in the 50s, are very much not okay right now. Can you imagine what might happen in, say, another 50 years if things that are happening right now are suddenly not okay in that future? Or maybe completely different entirely. They might still be okay, but there may be extra stuff. So being able to tell stories that would be universally acceptable both to people of other countries and nationalities, but also from people from different times, aka the future, who may read these stories. You know, people have read books about futuristic stories where they see, you know, a library that's all digital, but they still have like one Dr. Seuss book to show you what a book looked like. I'm like, it's something like that, but I want to be able to have my stories transcend time so that the children of the future can know both about the past and what's happening right now in a way that they'll be able to digest without being bored out of their skulls. That's my passion.
We're going to take one last question, and this is actually going to be a good... Wow, already.
Ooh, what made... It looks as Jess sent a request.
I've been trying to go after that one for like a good half hour. This one is from a friend of mine. Let me see what he's asking. When are we gonna... Dude, I'm on a live right now. You can't be asking me that. Next. Alright, this one is from Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robinson is asking... Why did you choose your careers? I think we went over that, but let's get...
Yeah, we kind of did. Mine was basically towards bettering my own life. What about yours?
Mine... Reason why I chose video is not just because I was good at it, but because I can also see myself in a different way. I don't think I covered this part, though, on reason why I chose video. So the media is being so exploited and being controlled by the government. So I want to try to do this as my own way of saying, hey, this is my story, try to shut me up. So I'm pretty much saying, come after me, FCC. Where the FCC has its own... So like I said, for weddings and stuff, people want to cherish memories, and I figured how I can do that. I can do many things, so that's why I stuck with video. I have fun doing it. I really do. I can't see myself doing anything else.
And that is a really nice feeling to have. A lot. It takes some people such a long time to get that feeling, that feeling like you're that puzzle piece that finally found its place where it fit in. That's a huge struggle that literally everyone goes through at some point in their lives, and to be able to find that is such an amazing feeling. And it's even more so for people who have disabilities, who look at their own lives and feel like they're lesser than most people and may not ever get that feeling.
Text me, please. We will text you. I will definitely text you. 455. We will definitely text you. Just give us a moment. Let's finish up what we're doing, please, and we'll definitely hit you up. Last question, really quick. And this is from Big Mike. Big Mike wants to know, has your disabilities interfered with any jobs that you had in the past? I could say yes right off the bat.
I can say no right off the bat.
I can say yes because I struggled with a lot of jobs because of my disability.
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with working at Bob's Tire because I never played Tetris. I never learned how to tear tires.
Then never get a storage unit if you don't know how to Tetris.
I never played Tetris.
Well, honestly, Tetris in and of itself is a life lesson. Like, it teaches you how to put things together in a way that fits under a time constraint. So being able to compact objects into a smaller space and fit them all neatly and nice is something that you'll literally use throughout your entire life. So Tetris is... You need to play Tetris.
Listen, I'm trying other games besides Tetris, and Tetris was the job I could never handle. Like tearing tires, you have to go this way with one tire and the opposite way, and I was just like, fuck. Every time I tried to put a tire on or inside a tire, they all fucking kept on falling off. I'm like, god damn it, I'm getting more pissed off. Like, I can't do this. So I had my driver tear them up for me. We used to put them in the box truck and tear them in the bus truck. When we got to the yard, I'm just like this. Fuck you guys. You guys do it. Guatemalans. I'll just give it to the Guatemalans. You guys tear them. You guys put those tires together. I don't know how to do shit. And when Bob...
Guatemala. That reminds me of when I was doing my irrigation
When Bob told me, hey, you're supposed to do this on your own. I said, you just give them the message? Because apparently they end up just doing it themselves. And kicked me out.
Yeah, it's because you were in their way.
No, because he told me to do it myself. He didn't want no Guatemalans to help me. And it's hard when all of them speak Spanish and not one person speaks English.
Yeah, well, like I said, that reminds me. Back in my days of doing irrigation, my father only had one employee, and he was from Honduras. So he also spoke a lot of Spanish. But he was trying to learn English. So he and I made a little deal where he would basically teach me all the Spanish swear words and how to say them in sentences. And I would teach him how to speak English. I like that Honduran dude. He's pretty cool.
That's a good trade-off. There's also been another job that I couldn't do that had affected my disability is numbers. I'm bad with numbers. I can't. Once I start the number game, like I'll just start doing math on my own just for the fun of it. That's when I can actually concentrate better. But doing banking and stuff like that, no. I tried banking voluntarily on my own, not even at a real bank, like in the house bank, and try to give up Dish Dash, do some transactions with checks and stuff. They were blank checks, but I knew the price of the check. And my friend, one of my friends who saw that I was struggling with it, wanted to see if I can actually handle it. I'm just like, I gave myself a D, and he will agree with me on this. He said, yeah, he's bad, but he's also good, but he'll take a D, and D's not good when you're working in a bank.
No,
you need like a B or better. For those who are C students, including me, yeah, you wouldn't get many jobs.
Me, I love math. Do you know why? Because in math, everything is finite, everything is logical, and everything is pretty straightforward. Literally, there's only one part of math that isn't all three of those, and that's the number pi. The number pi is infinite. It barely makes sense, and because it's the measurement of the, I believe it's the diameter of a circle. Something to do with a circle.
It's a diameter of a circle because it's 3.15. The radius...
3.14, thank you. 3.14, etc., etc. It's 3.1415, I believe it's the first.
I'm going to look this up. This is the
I believe those are the first decimals of pi. That's the only number that will never truly make sense, because you can calculate as many places as you want of pi, but it will never end. It'll never be finite. It'll never be logical, because a circle is as logical as happiness.
Yep, there's one less.
Pie crust, maybe? I don't know. No one else does.
It's 3.14159.
Okay, but there's more numbers after the 9, I promise you.
It's after the 9, it's another point. Look at it.
That's not a point, that's a 2, you idiot. That's 3.14159265358979, etc. All the way down.
I was just talking about here, where it says 3.15.
That's not a decimal, that's a period. Know your dots, man.
Listen, a period and a decimal look the same shit.
They may look the same, but they're different.
They're not different. They're the same shit.
Okay, so if I give you a bottle of water and a bottle of vodka, you'll say they're the same thing because they look the same?
A bottle of what?
Vodka and water. I'll put them next to each other, both in a water bottle, just to be funny, and have you tell me that they're the same.
One's clearer than the other.
No, it isn't.
One's clearer than the other.
No, it isn't.
Listen, one's clearer than the other.
Not even possible.
Ask me how it is possible, and I'll tell you.
First off, vodka is very clear, as it's ultra refined. Mm-hmm. Water at the same time, can also be equally ultra refined. To the point where it has zero sediment, zero minerals in it. Can be the most tasteless water ever, and it'll look like vodka.
The live video ended here, so that means we're canceling on the other one.
Hey, look! Hi, Josh Foss. What's up? See, we got a message.
What's up, fellas? Hey, dude, I'm sorry, dog. I didn't even know that you was here.
Wow. You gotta look at all the cameras, my dude.
I did look at all the cameras. Josh, when did you get in here?
Well, welcome to the podcast.
That's ending soon.
Well, still, Josh, if you have any questions you'd like to ask about the lives of someone who struggles with ADD, ADHD, or autism, by all means, ask away.
Or any disability at all.
Well, we can't really say for certain disabilities that we don't have personal experience from, otherwise we're just assuming, and that may offend people.
We can't assume, but we can try to help them out the best we can. I work with the spectrum, so it's
how about we just play it by ear, huh?
Yeah. What's up? How is everything? Safe response. I wish it would tell me when he joined. That's what I hate about YouTube. Like, it doesn't tell me if I have any viewers or anything.
Isn't that what that is for?
No. That just tells you... Really? How the hell did you get in here and I didn't see a 1? That stayed to 0 the whole... Oh, he has a channel.
Maybe?
Let's just go to channel. So, anyway, guys. Sorry to end things short, but we'll do this next week. We'll have it much better, hopefully. I'll do more research on how to do these conversations a lot better. How do you think today's show went, by the way?
I mean, we got to explain quite a lot about what it's like to live with our personal disabilities, as well as give them a peek into the life of a disabled person. Mental disabilities, of course. Not all disabled people, but at least a little slice of an idea of what that experience growing up was like, including in a world that may not entirely understand you as much as you don't understand you.
Can you diagram that sentence?
What?
Can you diagram that sentence?
On paper, maybe.
I wish I had a chalkboard. I'll be Mr. Feeney for like one day. Can you diagram that sentence? Someone's like, that episode where him and Jonathan had Mr. Turn at the time.
I like how someone who says that he needs to work on conversations is asking me to diagram a sentence. Well, how about we figure out how this episode's going?
That's true. So, if you guys like this episode, I put down here, and on this video only, I'm not sure about my others, but I can't be responsible for my others, because I'm still working on to get comments from you guys. So if you guys want to see more videos, more stuff like this, or do a different topic, please let us know. Every Monday we're going to try to do a podcast. Hopefully this one hopefully the second one is actually a lot better than the first one. That's my main goal. How do I think this went out? We're not okay. I mean, could it have been better? The lighting could have been better, but I had to deal with what I had to deal with.
I mean, hey, you got a couple of what looked like girls wanting to join our live stream, and apparently they loved you, so hey, there's something!
Yeah, that's true.
And on top of that, we got to see so many people waving at us as they came in and apparently out of our podcast, so that means at least we got some kind of coverage. Some people are a little less ignorant about, mental disabilities. And heck, I bet a lot of those people who joined our podcast also knew people who struggle with these very same and ironically very common disabilities nowadays.
Alright, so here's the deal. There's going to be 2 versions of this. There's going to be the editing version, and there's going to be a straightforward version.
A raw and edited version.
A non-edited version. Okay. Raw. Same thing.
There's nothing raw than live.
Right, because it doesn't have my logo. Except the one that you're wearing right now.
Which means it has your logo. Bada boom.
But I'm also saying with one that's going to have my logo, I just have to make sure I get the transformation from the Spectrum, because they've been doing my shirts and they do a very good job. What do you think on the design?
You don't want to know.
What do you think? It's crappy?
I think it's a little simplistic, but that's just my own personal opinion. It is your emblem, your company, your decision.
I was actually going after V. For the V was going after V for Vendetta, so I went off of that.
That makes 0 sense.
What? The V for Vendetta?
Yeah, because there's no Vendetta anywhere on the shirt, so how is anyone going to know that?
The V.
That is a V, yes.
And it's also the same color of the V for Vendetta.
And the same color as any other red V.
Show me a red V that's not part of Vendetta in a circle in a format.
Well, there's this thing called math. In math, they have a lot of red Vs.
Right, but is there a circle around it?
It is if you got it wrong.
My point exactly. So that's why I went after V for Vendetta, because I was, I believe, actually I like the movie, and I also believe that what he had and what he stood for was actually kind of awesome. So that's why I came up with the V, the way it was. So, yeah, because in that movie...
I mean, personally, this kind of reminds me a little bit about the Activision V, if it had, little wings, but that's just me. Because the V in Activision kind of slices through the rest of the word, much like the V slices through the S's.
I just like it because the S's are chopped, and it works.
Well, like I said, your company, your logo, your decision.
The only thing I couldn't...
You just asked my opinion.
The only thing I couldn't do, I wish I could have done, was put the V coming out of the circle. But here's the problem, the S's wouldn't match up the right way.
Right, and it would look way too much like the vault symbol from Borderlands. It would be almost copyright infringement. Because the vault emblem is a giant V in a circle. There you go again.
No.
Coming off the bottom, yes, that's the vault symbol.
Right.
V for vault. Coming off a circle with a big V, that's a copyright infringement. You can't have it touching.
Well, somehow...
Not unless you want to get sued by Rockstar Games.
Somehow V for Vendetta has it on his emblem. Done
Who?
the movie. V for Vendetta.
Well, that was probably something that they both worked out, or, for all we know, the movie might have come out before the game did, so...
So somebody is suing somebody for that.
Or somebody made a deal with somebody for the rights to use that.
Anyway.
That is how show business works.
Anyway. That's for another conversation, for another video. Anyways, thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys, even though I probably didn't get any viewers, but hopefully
Thanks for all the questions.
That too. Thank you for the people who actually asked the questions silently. That was actually kind of awesome, and that would actually help keep the show going. Yeah, I know. I got that fucking stuttering problem. I just got to get rid of it.
Well, thank you all, and we will be cutting off the broadcast here, so see you next time. I'm Joe, and this is Sean. Damn it. I was about to do the outro.
Go ahead. I didn't end yet. What? Time's still going.
Oh, I thought you hit the end stream. Well, we'll try the outro again. Thanks for joining our podcast. We'll see you next Monday. I'm Joe.
I'm Sean.
And we'll see you next time.